Hello and welcome to News Tonight, where we get you the day's biggest news and updates from across India and the world. I'm Tina Jha. But before we begin the bulletin, I would like to appeal to all our viewers to continue to maintain COVID-appropriate behavior as we are witnessing a massive surge in cases of coronavirus. Remember to wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and ensure physical distancing each time you step outside. These simple precautions will help us keep the infection away. And now the headlines of the day. Decks cleared for the distribution of the third COVID vaccine in India. Expert panel approves emergency use of Russia's Sputnik V. One 168,000 COVID cases reported in the last 24 hours. Active cases crossed 12 lakh for the first time. Lockdown in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh districts. Maharashtra postpones Class 10 and Class 12 examinations. Electioneering for the fifth phase elections in full swing in West Bengal. Prime Minister Modi campaigns in Bardhaman, Kalyani and Barasat. Chief Minister Banerjee and Union Home Minister Amit Shah also addressed rallies. 24-hour ban imposed on Mamata Banerjee for violating the Model Code of Conduct. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu releases postal stamp in memory of spiritual guide of Brahma Kumari's Dadi Janki, calls spirituality the basis of all religions, asserts that only spiritual knowledge can lead to peace in the world. And the second Shahi Snan concludes at the Haridwar Kumbh Mela. Devotees throng ghats for the ritual dip in River Ganga. India on Monday granted emergency use authorization to Russia's Sputnik V vaccine. An expert panel of the Central Drug Authority recommended granting approval to the anti-COVID vaccine for restricted emergency use with certain conditions, paving the way for a third vaccine to be made available in the country. The recommendations have been sent to the Drugs Controller General of India, the DCGI, for final approval. If approved, Sputnik V will be the third vaccine to be used in the country after Serum Institute of India's Covishield, developed by Oxford AstraZeneca and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. Being manufactured by Hyderabad-based Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Sputnik V had applied for the emergency use in the month of February. The vaccine is in phase 3 of clinical trials in India, the UAE, Venezuela and Belarus. In India, Sputnik V trials are on for around 1,600 people between 18 and 99 years of age. The vaccine has the highest effectiveness, 91.6%, after the Moderna and Pfizer shots. The move to approve Sputnik V by the Subject Expert Committee comes as India faces a massive surge in COVID-19 cases across the country. India reported a record daily spike of over 168,000 coronavirus infections on Monday, pushing the nation's COVID-19 tally to over 1 crore 35 lakh. The country's active cases have surpassed 12 lakh, comprising 8.88% of the total infections. 904 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the national death toll to 1,70,179. With 75,086 new recoveries in the same period, the total recoveries have now crossed 1 crore 21 lakh. The national COVID-19 recovery rate has fallen below 90%. 10 states, including Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Rajasthan, reported a steep rise in daily new cases. 83.02% of the new cases were reported from just these states. Maharashtra continues to report the highest daily new cases, this time at 63,294, followed by Uttar Pradesh with 15,276, while national capital Delhi reported 10,774 fresh cases of COVID-19. Amid a surge in fresh COVID-19 cases, Maharashtra has postponed the state board examinations of classes 10th and 12th. The exams were scheduled to be held later this month. The decision was taken at a meeting of the State Education Department, chaired by Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on Monday. Maharashtra has been witnessing a steep rise in COVID-19 cases in recent weeks. A night curfew has been imposed in Uttar Pradesh's Shravasti district till the 18th of April. The curfew will be in place between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. And besides Shravasti, night curfew has also been imposed in Kanpur, Gorakhpur, Gautam Budh Nagar, Allahabad, Meerut, Ghaziabad, Bareilly and Muzaffarnagar districts and the Lucknow Municipal Corporation area of the state. While Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Monday held a review meeting on the COVID-19 situation in the national capital, expressing concern over the pandemic situation, Arvind Kejriwal said that the fourth wave is the most dangerous so far. He directed the officials to increase the number of COVID-19 beds in all government and private hospitals in the city. Neighbouring Haryana has also imposed a night curfew in the state amid a surge in COVID-19 cases. The curfew will be from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting Monday until further orders. Other states reporting a surge in cases include Karnataka and Chhattisgarh, and these states are also imposing restrictions to contain the spread of the virus. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be interacting with governors of various states on Wednesday on the COVID-19 situation. It would be the first meeting of this kind during the pandemic and has been convened amid the centre looking to push for stronger adherence to the pandemic protocols among the citizens across the country. The development comes days after the Prime Minister, at a virtual meeting with the Chief Ministers, had called for involvement of governors in handling the pandemic and also of personalities from different fields to push compliance with COVID-appropriate behaviour and pandemic management guidelines, including for providing vaccination to the eligible people. During the interaction on the 8th of March, the Prime Minister had asked Chief Ministers to make the maximum use of the offices of governors. And a Tika Utsav drive is being held across the country with an aim to inoculate the maximum number of eligible people. The 4-day vaccination program is being held between the 11th to the 14th of April. Nearly 30 lakh vaccination doses were administered on the first day of the Tika Utsav that was observed on Sunday. Meanwhile, over 10 crore 45 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered across the country till date. These include over 90 lakh healthcare workers who've got the first dose and over 55 lakh people who have also got the second dose of the vaccine. Besides, over 99 lakh frontline workers have received the first dose and over 47 lakh people have also been administered the second dose. More than 4 crore people above the age of 60 have received the first dose and more than 19 lakh people have also got the second dose. More than 3 crore 20 lakh beneficiaries aged 45 to 60 have been given the first dose and the second dose has been received by 6 lakh 78,000 people across the country. So amid a surge in cases of COVID-19 in the country, India has banned the export of the antiviral drug Remdesivir. In an order, the government said it has banned the export of the drug injection and Remdesivir active pharmaceutical ingredients till the pandemic situation in the country stabilizes. To ensure more people can get the drug, the government said manufacturers of Remdesivir have been asked to show on their website the details of their stockpile and also the distributors. 7 Indian companies are currently producing Remdesivir under voluntary licensing agreement with Gilead Sciences US. They have an installed capacity of about 38 lakh 80,000 units per month. In some other news now, Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra was on Monday appointed as the next Chief Election Commissioner. According to the Ministry of Law, Chandra will assume charge on the 13th of April. The current Chief Election Commissioner, Sunil Arora, demits office on Monday. Chandra was appointed as an election commissioner on the 14th of February 2019, ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. He will demit office on the 14th of May 2022. And time for a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha television.
Do you know by what name is the upper house of the Indian Parliament known? Your options are A. Senate, B. Rajya Sabha, C. House of Lords, and D. Legislative Council. See the correct answer tonight
At 9:30 p.m. only on Rajya Sabha television.
One of the major heritage sites in India, the Humayun tomb glares with perfection, finesse and beauty. Housing the grave of the second Mughal emperor, Nasiruddin Muhammad Humayun, the tomb was commissioned by his wife Hamida Bano Begum in his memory as a mark of love. A mausoleum which inspired the design and the layout of the wonder of the world, the Taj Mahal. Built 13 years after his death, the tomb was completed in the year 1572. Designed by Miraq Mirza Ghias, a Persian architect, it's a first ever garden tomb on the Indian subcontinent, constructed in Persian style Chaharbagh concept. The garden, divided in 4 main quarters by walkways and flowing water, drew inspiration from the Garden of Paradise as described in the Holy Quran. The tomb is among the earliest structures depicting an Indo-Persian design, while the arches, corridors and the high double dome is inspired by Persian architecture. Pavilions, chhatri and jali took a cue from Rajputana style.
Article 105 deals with powers, privileges of the Houses of Parliament and of the members, committees thereof. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution and to the rules and standing orders regulating the procedure of Parliament, there shall be freedom of speech in Parliament. No member of Parliament shall be liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said or vote given by him in Parliament or any committee thereof, and no person shall be so liable in respect of the publication by or under the authority of either House of Parliament of any report, paper, votes or proceedings. In other respects, the powers, privileges and immunities of each House of Parliament and of the members and the committees of each House shall be such as may from time to time be defined by Parliament by law, and until so defined shall be those of that House and of its members and committees immediately before the coming into force of Section 15 of the Constitution, 44th Amendment Act, 1978. The provisions of clauses 1, 2 and 3 shall apply in relation to persons who by virtue of this Constitution have the right to speak in and otherwise to take part in the proceedings of a House of Parliament or any committee thereof, as they apply in relation to members of Parliament.
Election campaigning is on in full swing in West Bengal ahead of the 5th phase of polling on the 17th of April. Polling for the first 4 phases have concluded in the state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a whirlwind election tour of the state, addressed as many as 3 rallies on Monday. Addressing a public meeting in Bardhaman, he claimed that in the 4 phases of elections in the state, his party already got 100 seats and the Trinamool Congress is getting wiped away. Drawing a cricket analogy, the Prime Minister said that people of West Bengal have clean bowled the Trinamool Congress. He also said that the state currently wants jobs. Bengal wants a BJP government.
4 चरणों के चुनाव में बंगाल की जागरूक जनता ने इतने चौके छक्के मारे, इतने चौके छक्के मारे कि बीजेपी की सीटों की सेंचुरी हो गई है। जो आपके साथ खेला करने की सोच रहे थे, उन्हीं के साथ खेला हो गया है।
Addressing another rally at Kalyani city, the Prime Minister took on the Trinamool Congress government for depriving the poor of the state of the central schemes.
10 साल जिस तरह बंगाल में सरकार चलाई, उसने हर विरासत का अपमान किया है। आपने राजनीतिक हितों के लिए बंगाल के लोगों की हत्या, अपने तोलाबाजों को फायदा पहुंचाने के लिए बंगाल के लोगों से लूटपाट, अपने सिंडिकेट को ताकतवर बनाने के लिए बंगाल के लोगों से विश्वासघात, दीदी के 10 साल के काम का रिपोर्ट कार्ड सिर्फ और सिर्फ यही है।
Prime Minister Modi also held a public meeting at Barasat city where he promised rapid development if the BJP is voted to power in the state.
गरीब को सुनवाई, बुजुर्गों को दवाई, नौजवान को कमाई, ये बीजेपी की डबल इंजन की सरकार ही दे सकती है। इसलिए आज पूरा बंगाल कह रहा है, बांग्लार दरकार बीजेपी सरकार।
Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah also held a road show and addressed several election rallies in the state. During an address after a road show in Kalimpong, Amit Shah said, as long as the Narendra Modi-led BJP government is there at the centre, no Gorkha will be harmed. Later, addressing a political rally in Dhupguri Assembly constituency, Amit Shah declared that the BJP is far ahead in 92 of the 135 seats that went to polls in the first 4 phases of the assembly elections. He also asked people to give a grand farewell to Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, ensuring that the BJP wins more than 200 seats. Amit Shah also said that the BJP will implement the CAA and provide Indian citizenship to refugees in the region.
ये घुसपैठिए मेरे युवाओं की नौकरी ले जाते हैं या नहीं ले जाते हैं? जोर से बोलो, ले जाते हैं नहीं ले जाते हैं? गरीब का चावल ले जाते हैं नहीं ले जाते हैं? उनको रोकना चाहिए या नहीं रोकना चाहिए? दीदी रोकेगी क्या? रोकेगी? 10 साल तक रोका है क्या? रोका है? वो तो नहीं रोकेगी, मगर मैं आपको कहने आया हूं, एक बार 2 मई को नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में भाजपा सरकार बना दो, इंसान तो क्या, सरहद की उस ओर से परिंदा भी पैर नहीं मार पाएगा।
West Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Chief Mamata Banerjee also held multiple rallies in West Bengal. Addressing a rally at Ranaghat constituency in Nadia, she presented a list of development works done during the past 10 years and claimed that her government will continue with this work. She accused the BJP of spreading falsehood and criticized the BJP leaders for their controversial comments regarding the Sitalkuchi violence. Mamata Banerjee has been barred from campaigning for the next 24 hours for violation of provisions of the Model Code of Conduct. The Election Commission on Monday banned her from campaigning for her remarks against the central forces and also another statement made by her which had alleged religious overtones. So during the fifth phase, 45 assembly seats spread over 6 districts of the state will go to polls on the 17th of April. The Election Commission has decided to increase the silent period of the campaign for this phase by 24 hours, and as a result, the campaign will end a day earlier on Wednesday. In all, 319 candidates will be vying for the 45 assembly seats. The BJP is contesting on all these 45 seats, while the ruling Trinamool Congress is contesting on 42. The Congress, left parties and their alliance partner, the ISF, are fighting under the banner of Sanyukta Morcha. The BSP has fielded 32 candidates, the CPIM 25, Congress 11, AIFP 2, RSP, NPP and CPI 1 each, while there are 83 independents along with 76 others in the fray. Monday was the last date for the withdrawal of candidature for the 7th and 8th phase of the assembly elections in West Bengal. In all, 36 assembly constituencies will go to polls in the 7th phase on the 26th of April, while the remaining 35 constituencies will go to polls in the 8th phase on the 29th of April. The counting of votes will be taken up together for all phases on the 2nd of May. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Monday released a commemorative postal stamp in the memory of Dadi Janki. Calling her as an extraordinary spiritual teacher, the Vice President asked people to draw inspiration from Dadi Janki's life, which was dedicated to God and to selfless service of humanity. Stressing that spirituality is the basis of all religions, the Vice President said that only spiritual knowledge can ensure true peace, unity and harmony in the world.
The world needs more hearing voices like Dadi Janaki ji, who, cutting through the dogmas and rituals of all religions, firmly believed in the essence of one God. Her teachings centered on Raja Yoga, her virtues of kindness, seva and simplicity and compassion. They are all indeed worthy of emulation by all. Everyone should take a clue from Dadi Janaki ji and following in her footsteps fight social evils like gender discrimination, casteism and communalism to build a better India where everyone has equal opportunities and lives in complete harmony with others.
The Vice President also called for ending gender discrimination in society and to ensure equal rights to women in each and every field of activity.
Spirituality is the basis of all religions, and the same spiritual threads bind them together. People need to understand that only spiritual knowledge can ensure true peace, unity and harmony in the world. Indian civilization values of share and care and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, are the pathway to lasting world peace. खुद से अपने अस्तित्व के बारे में सवाल करना जीवन का व्यापक उद्देश्य, ढूंढना और उनका समाधान खोजना यही आध्यात्म है। आध्यात्म खुद से ही खुद का विमर्श है। यह जीवन और समाज के प्रति स्थिर सामंजस्य विकसित करता है।
With a view to strengthen cooperation in COVID and post-COVID period, French Foreign Minister Jean Le Drian will hold bilateral talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Tuesday in New Delhi. Both leaders will also hold talks on regional and international issues of mutual interest. The French Foreign Minister will also meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to India. He is also scheduled to meet Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar at a panel discussion on climate change and also participate in the Raisina dialogue. The French minister's visit will pave way for further strengthening of the partnership across trade, defense, climate, migration and mobility, education and health sectors in the post-COVID context. And the Raisina dialogue that is organized every year will begin on Tuesday in a digital mode due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Raisina dialogue 2021. The first day of conversations will begin on the issue of health. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, Principal Scientific Advisor K. Vijay Raghavan and Mark Sussman, Chief Executive Officer, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, will be the first three speakers of the first session. The Raisina dialogue will conclude on the 16th of April. More than 150 speakers are expected to speak at the event this year. And amid rising cases of coronavirus nationwide, a sea of saffron-clad seers and ash-smeared nagas converged at Har Ki Pauri in Haridwar for a holy dip in River Ganga during the second Shahi Snan of the Kumbh Mela on Monday. The Mela administration claimed that approximately 31 lakh devotees had taken the holy dip in River Ganga. Around 10,000 security personnel have been deployed to control and supervise the crowd in Haridwar and Rishikesh. According to officials, over 350 CCTV cameras have been installed at different locations in the Mela area, with about 100 of these equipped with sensors that generate an alert when the camera captures the image of a person without a mask. The Uttarakhand High Court had directed the state government to ensure that they use sanitizers and ensure that people wear masks. The Kumbh Mela in Haridwar will conclude on the 30th of April with 3 Shahi Snans on 12th, 14th and 27th of April. So that's it from us in this bulletin. But before we leave, I once again appeal to all our viewers to continue to maintain COVID-appropriate behavior and stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember to wear your face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and do ensure that you maintain physical distancing whenever you step outside. These simple precautions are all that it takes on our part to defeat the pandemic. Take care of yourselves and your families. Good night and thank you for your time.